Morning, everybody. It's about 25 after 9 on Thursday. I'm sitting in traffic on my way to the office and just trying to get mentally prepared for whatever today has in store for me. This week, my job title has changed from Director of Operations to Firefighter. It's every day I've walked in, there's been some sort of crisis that I've needed to handle, which, is fine. That's, what happens sometimes. I'm not complaining. It's just kind of just reporting what's going on. So every morning, like first thing I do when I wake up, I walk into the kitchen, I make my cup of coffee, and I sit down, I check my email, I respond to any comments on social media, and then I just kind of sit and think and kind of try and grasp whatever thoughts are going through my head, and kind of in an attempt to figure out what I should be focusing on. And today, what came up was this idea of putting people first. And there's a couple reasons why I think that has come up. One, because this week has been a lot of, not doing what I necessarily what I'm usually doing at work. There's been a lot of kind of redirection and crisis management and all that stuff, and I've really had to focus on just being useful. And I think that the other reason why it comes up is because throughout my entire life, I have felt the most fulfilled when I am helping other people. And whether that's through when I was in a band and music, and we occasionally came across people who really got something out of the music that the band was putting out, whether that be through just doing things for other people without expecting anything in return, there are some truly remarkable companies out there that really get the concept of putting people first, and it's kind of the one thing that ties all these businesses together. And it's not just putting employees first, it's not just putting customers first, it's a mix of the two. It's the understanding that if you take care of people, then people will take care of you. When you're a business owner, that's a little bit easier to do because you kind of have control over the company culture. I am not in a position where I have control over the company culture. I'm not a business owner. I'm the number 2 in the company, but the number 1 is a very strong number 1, and to be quite honest, the business culture, is very numbers oriented and very, money oriented. So, as a manager or as a supervisor, which I guess if you're one of those people, this message is for you. It can be difficult to put people first when you work for a company that doesn't. And I have sometimes struggled with that myself because I'm kind of, I'm kind of being pulled in opposite directions. Fundamentally, I believe that people should come first, and I believe that I should do whatever I can to take care of, my guys in the field, and, whatever I can to take care of the customer. And I'm getting, pulled between that fundamental belief and, my boss, who is very, we need the revenue. So it can be difficult to put people first when you work in an environment like that. And I know I'm not the only one who's in that situation. And it's something that I have a lot of experience with, and I will tell you that it is possible, but it's going to take some work, and it's going to take some risk on your part, because you can end up you're going to have to risk getting in trouble at work. Really, you're going to have to risk some uncomfortable situations and some uncomfortable conversations with the people above you, and it's just something that's going to happen. But I'll tell you guys, it's worth it, because what happens when you can carve out your little, what I like to call a subculture within your business, where maybe the business as a whole is very numbers driven, but your team that you manage is very people come first. What you do is you can create this little subculture where you're taking care of your people are taking care of the customers, and you can build a level of trust with your team, and your team is then willing to go above and beyond. For example, a very, very recent example, we have a huge project coming up. It's starting on Monday, and it's kind of an all hands on deck thing, which means, as far as like service calls and our normal day-to-day operations are concerned, that's kind of put on hold for the next like 2-3 weeks. So this week we're kind of pinned in a corner a little bit, and there's some ongoing jobs that we're like really, really, needing to finish up this week. And as a result of that, I've had to work my guys, sometimes 10, 11, 12 hours a day. But because I've created this little subculture of people come first, and I've done my best to do that with my employees, they are, willing to go above and beyond and put in the work and put in the long hours, because they know not only will it help the customer out, but it'll help me out, and it'll make my job easier, because I don't have to go back to the boss and say, we're not going to get this done, we're not going to get this done, we're not going to get this done. I can go back and say, the guys are working their asses off, they're getting the customers taken care of, and they're making them happy, and we're getting the revenue, so everybody's getting what they want. So I think that's it. I just think, it's difficult, and you're going to have to kind of figure out what the limits are as far as, how far you can push the envelope, when it comes to putting people first in a company that doesn't do that. And that's that. That's kind of what came up in my little meditation this morning. So, if any of you are managers or supervisors and you have, you're in that kind of situation, let me know what your experience is in creating these little subcultures. I want to start a dialogue here, and I really want to know, how you guys relate to the content that I'm putting out. So that's it for me this morning. I'll check in a little bit later, and I hope you guys have a good day. Talk to you soon.